Welcome to my second lesson of public speaking training about one of the basic rudiments of public speaking, which was composure. And we said composure is divided into three parts. We have the pre-composure, we have the composure, and we have post-composure. Now, if you want to have details about these particular explanations or these concepts, you can go back to my previous video and watch it so you understand what composure is in public speaking. Now, like I said, our topic today is 5 ways to cure anxiety in public speaking. So, what are the 5 ways of curing anxiety in public speaking? Now, these 5 ways are not restricted and there are no constraints. They are just 5 ways that are general to an extent, and to another extent, my own kind of way of approaching public speaking when it comes to curbing anxiety, when it comes to avoiding anxiety, when it comes to helping you practice how to not to be anxious in public. First one is consistency in determination. Now, as a public speaker, or as a person who have the interest or who intends to be a good public speaker that is very confident without anxiety, you need to be very, very consistent. And you don't just become consistent, because in every consistency there is always bare minimum, or there is always an excess determination. Now, this is where extremism is not really bad, because when you're not determined and consistent in terms of public speaking, then you really aren't ready to be a very good public speaker. Now, you don't time yourself in public speaking, also related to consistency, and you don't time yourself and say, I need to train how to cure my anxiety in 2 days, I need to cure it in 1 week, cure it in 1 year, I need to cure it in 1 month. No. You practice yourself. This is not even just related to public speaking. When you want to learn anything, you practice it practically. You don't time frame yourself. You say, okay, whenever I'm good with it, let me just give it a go ahead. You don't time frame yourself. That's why when you have a topic to discuss when you have to discuss in public and you feel you're going to have an anxiety, you don't need to say, let me train myself on how to avoid that anxiety. You are time framing yourself, and you and I know it's not going to be possible. If you don't train yourself with the plan of having a long-term training, then you might have difficulties in catching up how to avoid anxiety in public speaking. So you need to be consistent, and consistency can be in picking always. You don't have to be enclosed in your shell. For instance, if you're still an undergraduate, instances where you have group discussions, group assignments, don't leave it to the other members to do. You should partake. That's if you want to practice and how to avoid anxiety. You should participate in group discussions. If you're an undergraduate and you have a group discussion or group assignment, make sure you are part of those that will represent your group in terms of public speaking. This is part of what we call consistency. You don't just wake up one day and say, I want to be good with public speaking. No, you practice it. You engage in things that are going to make you interact with different kinds of people. Consistency also help you in being able to address different grades of peer groups. Now, in terms of peer groups, I mean, for instance, peer group of your age mates, you have peer group that are people that are intellectuals, you have peer group that might be academicians older than you. So when you are consistent in interacting with people, attending seminars, attending conferences, going to programs that are open to public, where you can present issues, where you can talk about issues, even if it's just a poem. That was how I started presenting of poem in public. When you present poem, it makes you consistent, and you tend to say that, okay, if I'm in this crowd, I can speak to this particular set of people. If I'm in this type of people, I can present to this type of people. That is what we call consistency. And in situations whereby you continue doing it, it means you are determined. But when you give a stop and say, no, I'm already good with this stuff, you're not determined. You are just consistent, but then you are not determined. Determination is you just continue. Just continue. Any opportunity you see, just grab it. Any opportunity you see, just grab it. So that, but then you still continue. You don't actually give up. This thing I'm doing now, I practice myself. And if I don't know how to speak in public, I won't stand in front of you. I mean, it's all the same. So you need to be consistent in determination. Number two is eye contact training. This one is a bit broad, but then I'm going to try as much as possible to make it very linear in explanation. Now, the reason why I didn't say eye contact is because some people actually feel eye contact is not important in public presentation. Some people feel you can just practice how to speak. So if you have an issue with giving eye to eye contact, then you can just forfeit it. And it's not so. Do you know the reason why? A good public speaker is supposed to be someone that can picture themselves into you, that is listening by giving you direct eye contact. You can't be speaking to me. I am the audience, Husseina. You can't be speaking to me and then you are looking at maybe my forehead. There's public speakers that do that. You look at my forehead, you look at my jaw, or maybe you are looking at my head. No, you give me eye contact. It makes me understand what you are saying directly. Now, when we say eye contact training, it is a gradual process. Mun san abin da ake kiran family background, upbringing. Let me give you an instance with myself. Naturally, I know it is disrespectful for you to look at someone who is older than you, eyeball to eyeball. I know. But then because I had to practice myself to be a good public speaker, when I was developing my public presentation in high institution, I had to have a meeting with my father, and I had to beg him that once in a while I would like to be giving him eye contact. It's to develop myself in terms of public speaking, not for any other reason. And my dad was very supportive. That was part of how I developed myself. Now, I'm not saying you should use your dad to it. All depends on your relationship you have. Make use of your loved ones when you want to develop yourself in anything. You don't have to underestimate the importance of your loved ones when it comes to training yourself in whatever you want to do. Now, in this aspect, it's something actually abstract because you can't really see public speaking. But then look for your loved ones, talk to your loved ones. It's not something that you should just wake up and start doing, looking at your elbows. You need to be very respectful and cautious with it. Sit them down, people that you feel, if you look at their eyeballs, you'll be able to face a particular kind of crowd. Tell them, I want to be speaking to you, but I need to be looking at your eyeball to eyeball so I can develop myself in terms of eye contact. Now, this is one way of achieving eye contact training certificate. But in quotes, this is how you train yourself in having a very good eye contact relationship. Now, number three is avoid curiosity. Curiosity is when you are anxious, not just anxious, you are angry. And it's not like you are angry, but then because you want to prove your point, because you feel like when you scream or when you shout, your point is going to sink into your audience. Actually, you're making a very wrong step, and your understanding of public speaking is actually very wrong. So use your points that are valid, use your ideas and your understanding of concepts, in-depth understanding of concepts, and good vibe explanation with your audience, interaction with your audience to convince them about your point. You don't do it by shouting. In fact, shouting creates a barrier between you and your audience. Shouting means you are not sure of your point, so you need to shout. And there's nobody that likes shouting. Even if you present in front of children and you shout, they might not take you seriously. For adults, when you shout, they won't be scared. Instead, they will feel intimidated or they will have a despite for you because they will feel you are disrespectful. That's it for public speaking. So public speaking is composure, and when you are composed, it stems from you understanding exactly what you are saying, having an in-depth research of your topic, being composed. Those are the basic things that you need in public presentation. So that's why you need to, as much as possible, avoid curiosity. Number four, to be very calculative. Your pacing, it's calculative pacing training. Now, pacing is, let me just give you an example. Though you can't see my legs, but pacing is when you are walking, you are presenting, and you want to walk around. We have two categories. You know, there are some presentations that when you are having them, you have a podium and a pulpit. There are some presentations that you don't have a pulpit. In any of the cases, please, if you know you have anxiety, this is where you can train yourself. So you need to be extremely calculative in pacing. When you want to start your pacing exercise or training, you start with the reason why I say this calculative is you have to be counting inwardly. You start with today, if I want to present, I'm going to pace for like 5 times, 5 steps front, and come back to my pocket or come back to where I started from and just stand there. Now, when you calculate your pacing, it makes you know, okay, I don't need to exceed this point and I need to come back. The next presentation, you can increase with 1 foot, it means six. Next one, like that, like that. Sometimes you can repeat the same number, maybe come back to five, go five, come back five, sometimes go 10, come back 10. This helps you avoid shaking of legs because you are calculative of your pacing. You tend to get used to five, from five to six, from six to five again to 10, and to the extent that you get used to walking around your body. Last one is explore your live option or icon on your most preferred social media space. Now, you want to go live on Facebook, for instance, you just put only me and on you switch on your live, just be talking, be talking, be talking, be practicing how to talk. So when you start, you might even lost weight because you are not used to. When you keep talking with time, maybe after a week or so, maybe I'm just okay. Let me go live and put it on friends only or public. Now, when you do this, you don't start by going live and just keeping quiet. Start by going live and maybe speaking for maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, just to do hi, hello, like that, like that, like that. Once again, we are back to consistency and determination, like that. Just be talking once in a while, once in a while, once in a while. You get used to exploring yourself. Now, when you are consistent with interacting with people, it helps you know this is what I'm supposed to say, this is not what I'm supposed to say. Sometimes you realize that you feel you know how to speak English, you feel you know how to converse in Hausa perfectly, but when you want to speak in front of people, that same language that you know, you just lost words for it. Now, this is because you don't practice yourself consistently and you don't use the actual platforms you're supposed to use in developing your public speaking skills. So, I hope my lesson today was educative and you took something away from it. And I hope it's going to be helpful to one or two or three persons.